So today I'm going to talk about the project that was mentioned before. So the project is Sargassum in the Caribbean, challenges and opportunity for a blue growth based on circular economy approach. During my presentation, I'm going to talk a little about the problem, the role of the Sargassum in the ecosystem, Sargassum in the Caribbean, the project, samples collection, product development, and the next steps. So, yes, so the Sargassum in the Caribbean region have been growing since 2011, going from around 2 million tons to around 17, 18 million tons per year, with a record of 20 million in 2018. So the Sargassum has also a role in the ecosystem. So it is food, refuges, breeding for some fish, but also it have an important role in the environment, that is like collecting the carbon dioxide and transforming in sugar and oxygen. So the problem is that the big quantity of Sargassum arriving to the Caribbean are making a lot of problems for the tourists and the fishing industry. So here you can see in the picture how sometimes the beaches look for the Sargassum. So you probably are very familiar with that. The other problem with the Sargassum is that during the decomposition, it's generating hydrogen sulfide, that is a very toxic and corrosive gas. So the project, based on the, all the issues of the Sargassum in the Caribbean, the New Zealand Foreign Affairs and Trade decided to fund a project to try to look for solutions in the Caribbean due to the Sargassum. Our main collaborator is the CRFM, but also we have collaborators in different countries in the Caribbean that include government institutions, universities, and some private sector. So the main goal of the project is to mitigate the environmental and economic impact of the Sargassum. So this project has 3 phases. The phase number 1 is have a component that is the characterization of the raw material. In this case, the characterization of the Sargassum, and also like evaluating different technologies for the harvesting of the Sargassum. The phase number 2, that is the technical development, has 2 components. One of them is the product and process development. And the second one is the product commercialization and strategy development. And the last phase is the outreach, that is basically to develop the supply chains of the target product that we are making during this project. So we have been collecting samples in 2021. We have been taking samples for the north, the south, the west, and the east, specifically in the Dominican Republic, Barbados, Jamaica, and Belize. So here you can see in the table the number of samples that we have been collecting and the countries that we have been collecting the sample. For example, if we go to 2021, we collected samples from Belize, Jamaica, and Barbados. The total samples that were collected was 33. We did the separation by morphotype. For the analysis that we did in this sample, we did the arsenic speciation, heavy metals, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and we analyzed other components in the Sargassum. So we are very into analyzing the proportion of the inorganic and organic arsenic in the Sargassum, because we know that the inorganic one is the more toxic representation of the arsenic in any material. So this is basically what I have, what the sample that we have been collecting. So far, in the case of the heavy metal, it's well known. Sargassum have high content of arsenic and cadmium. Normally, the levels are over the maximum concentration that is allowed. But what I said, the maximum is when if we want to use just as the sargassum is, but it doesn't mean that we don't have options to make some product from the sargassum without the risks of the heavy metals. And this is one of the goals of the project. So now moving to the product development. The product development was doing in 2 stages. One of them was product brainstorming. So we were looking for different potential applications that can be made using sargassum. So we did a list of 23 products. But after that, we have some criteria to try to choose what was more realistic to the context in the Caribbean. So we were taking parameters such as technology, freedom of operation, the market, competition, and so on. So for that list, we did a short list of 2 end products. 2 of them are based on the soil production enhancers, like kind of fertilizer and compost, also the building material. So the philosophy for the product development is based on the zero waste or circular economy. So we are not planning to generate an extra side stream or waste for processing the sargassum. So just to give the example about what we're planning to do or what we are doing at the moment is we want to make a liquid coming from the sargassum that is going to be used as a plant stimulant. With the residue coming from that process, we are planning to do some compost, looking for the best combination to manage the heavy metal content there, and also making some building materials. So so far we have been doing the develop of the prototype liquid that we want to use for growing plant enhance. So recently we finished some tests in the University of West Indies in Barbados, making 5 different products that are going to be used in the greenhouse next month to see what is performing better in some crops. And then next year, we have planned to do the scaling up in a pilot plant scale with the best product that we are going to try next month in the greenhouse.
Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation and certainly very relevant.